Hey guys, it's Laura. Welcome back. Today's video is going to be the end of the year book tag. So I remember doing this tag last year. I don't remember when I did it, and I don't know when you're supposed to do it. Like what is the acceptable time? Like it's November, it is the end of the year, but like everyone else has already done this tag, so maybe I'm late, I don't know. But I wasn't planning to do this tag mostly because I have no like solid plans for the end of the year as far as my reading is concerned. I don't have an end of the year TBR. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing, but I decided to do this video anyway. So let's get started. I will link the original creator down below. I think it was Ariel Bissett, I'm not sure, but I will link them down below. So question number one is, are there any books that you started this year that you need to finish? Yes, I spent a good amount of time in September, I think it was, trying to get through all those books that I had started at the beginning of the year, books that I was currently in the middle of that I put down, and I successfully completed or DNF'd, officially DNF'd a lot of them, but there still is one more book, and that is Maya Angelou's complete poetry collection. I've been reading this since February. I picked it up in February and I thought I would read a few poems at a time. I never finished it, I never went back to it, and I haven't picked this back up since March, I think it was. I don't know why. I just keep forgetting about it, even though it's the first book on my TBR cart always. It's just hanging out there now, and I still haven't finished it. And I don't know why. I used to love poetry like when I was a teenager, and then at some point I just stopped reading it altogether, and I haven't picked up poetry in quite a while. But I do want to finish this before the end of the year because it's still on my Goodreads like currently reading shelf, and I just want to get rid of that. So yeah, I definitely want to finish this before the end of the year. Question number two. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I don't remember how I answered this last year, and I don't know if this is supposed to be like a book that I've read or I'm planning to read that is going to transition me into the end of the year, or like am I recommending you a book that will transition you into the end of the year? I don't know, but I'm just gonna recommend you a book. The book I want to recommend is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. This is a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling, and we're following our main character Anna Lee, who has 12 sisters, or used to have 12 sisters, but 4 of the sisters have died, and these deaths were like all assumed to be accidental deaths. But our main character Anna Lee has discovered something that points to her sisters' deaths not being accidental but actually being murders, and so she sets out to find out exactly what's going on because the family is convinced that they're cursed. People in the town are convinced that they're cursed, and she needs to find out what is happening to her sisters before she is next. And not only that, but the sisters that are remaining have been sneaking out at night and going to these balls where they're dancing all night, and as she gets swept up in that as well, she has to wonder who exactly they're dancing with and whether or not this is actually something they should be doing. I don't know if I explained that all well, but this book is amazing. This is a historical fantasy with some horror elements. It is definitely spooky. It's a perfect autumn book because of the horror and the spookiness, but it also is very atmospheric and wintry as well. It's a great book to read during the colder months because I think most of it takes place in wintertime. So I think that this is a great like transitional autumn into winter type book, and I definitely recommend picking it up. It's spooky, it's atmospheric, it's beautiful and beautifully written, and I really loved it, so I recommend. The next question is there a new release you're still waiting for? I am patiently awaiting A Sky Beyond the Storm by Saba Tahir, which is the fourth and final book in An Ember in the Ashes series. This series I have absolutely loved from the first book on. An Ember in the Ashes was the book in the series that really changed the game for YA for me. I know that while I was reading YA, a lot of it was the same, and An Ember in the Ashes just was so much more. It had so much more depth. It had so much more color. I fell in love with the story. I fell in love with the characters. I cannot wait for this fourth book to come out. I know that it's gonna break my heart and destroy me because Saba Tahir is really cruel with her characters and she puts them through a lot. So I know it's gonna be hard, but I cannot wait to read it. And I know there's other books that are coming out between now and the end of the year that I'm probably excited for. I just can't think of them. Like, this is the one that really sticks out to me. The next question. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? Okay, so the first book I have here, now these are books I want to read. I'm not saying that I'm going to, but I would like to read these before the end of the year. The first one is Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. So this was part of the 20 books that I put on my list of 20 books to read in 2020. And even though I've kind of abandoned that list at this point, I still want to get to this one book. It's a bigger one. It's about 700 and so pages. It's not that bad. Considering the fact that I read 1,200 page Brandon Sanderson books, I shouldn't be intimidated by the size. It's not really the size that intimidates me, it's just the feelings involved with this book. Like, everyone loves this book, right? And this is actually one of my husband's favorites, if not his favorite book. And so it's a little intimidating for me. And I really don't even know what this is about. I know it's about Kvothe, who is telling his life story, I think. And that's all I know. I have no idea what's going on in this book. But I really want to give it a try, and I want to read this before the end of the year. I don't know how or when, or I don't know, but I will try. The next book is Sword of Cayenne by Enola Holmes, and this simply because everyone has been talking about this and absolutely loving it. It's a standalone fantasy. As far as I know, it's a standalone fantasy, and I need more of those in my life because I am completely overwhelmed with all the series that I am currently in the middle of. So a standalone fantasy sounds right up my alley. And I've just heard really amazing things. I know that the magic system is based on elemental magic. I know that there is like a badass mother character in here that I definitely want to get to know, and I'm just really excited to pick this one up. So I definitely want to get to it before the end of the year. And then the last book I have here is Enola Holmes, The Case of the Missing Marquez, and this is by Nancy Springer. This is a middle grade book. It's a middle grade mystery, and it follows Enola Holmes, who is actually the younger sister of Sherlock Holmes. And it just seems like it's going to be a really cute and fun middle grade mystery. It's the first book in like a 6-book series, I believe, and of course there is the Netflix movie adaptation starring Millie Bobby Brown. I really want to watch that movie. It looks really fun, so I want to read the book first because that's what you do. So I definitely want to read this before the end of the year so that I can watch the movie. Okay, next question. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? Honestly, this question makes no sense to me. I mean, I can't, no, the answer is no. There's no way to say that I think this book will shock me and become the end of the year, my favorite of the year, because it's a shock, right? I will say though, that the book I'm currently reading, which is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I have the dust jacket off, but you can see on the spine. This book has shocked me, and I think that this might be my new favorite book. Not even of the year, but just like of ever. I knew that I was gonna love this book because I love Victoria Schwab. She's one of my favorite authors, and everyone has been loving this. But I had no idea that I would connect to the story as much as I have. It has touched my heart in a way not a lot of other books have, and I have fallen in love with Addie LaRue and Henry and this world that she created, this life, such a lonely, long existence, and it's so heartbreaking and it's so beautiful. This is Victoria Schwab's best yet. I'm not even done with it. I'm almost done. I only have that much left to go. So I mean, I haven't finished it yet, so I can't officially say that this is my new favorite. And I still haven't read Rhythm of War, which I was expecting to be my new favorite of the year. But this has been so shocking to me in how much I have loved this book. So this could very well be the book. Okay, and oh, okay, the last question. The last question is, have you already started making reading plans for 2021? Yes, I have. I have like already made my plans for 2021 as far as reading is concerned. I made a lot of goals. I had a lot of goals, a lot of reading lists, a lot of like a yearly TBR. I had a lot of plans for 2020, right? And none of them quite worked out. And so I'm abandoning that approach and bringing into 2020 a more free, flexible type of reading plan. Basically, I'm just gonna read what I want. I'm gonna read what I want. And I have a few like guidelines or goals, but other than that, I'm just gonna have a really chill reading year. I do, however, have a lot of like channel goals and channel plans for my YouTube channel that definitely will coincide with my reading. So not necessarily reading goals, but because this is a booktube channel, the plans that I have for my channel involve reading certain things. So look forward to 2021 because I'm hopefully going to be having a lot of fresh, exciting, fun video ideas for you. But that was it. That was the end of the year book tag. That was really short and sweet. I hope you enjoyed. Do let me know down in the comments if you have any thoughts or opinions on the books that I mentioned today. Let me know what the one book that you need to get to before the end of the year is. I'm curious. I have to know. Talk to me down in the comments. You know I love hearing from you. But that's going to be it from me today. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!